algebra classes. It's Mrs. Medora here with my awesome headphones that I stole from my daughter so I can look like you guys when you're gaming. I just want to say, first of all, that I hope everybody is okay. And if you need anything, please text me, email me, or Schoology message me. I hope everybody is okay. I hope everybody's family is okay. But we have to do what we have to do. So this is the way math class is going to be. We're going to learn this together. I'm going to make some mistakes. You're going to make some mistakes, and that's okay. We're going to figure out this together because we are a team. So here we go. So today we're going to be learning about box plots, and actually it should be a review. You guys did this in your 6th grade advanced or accelerated classes. Box plots are a way to represent data. There's other ways we're going to learn next week, but today we're just going to focus on box plots. So the first thing you need to do is get a set of data. So I want you to pause this video and I want you to write down the data that you see on the screen right there. So write down this data. So the first step in making a box plot is putting the data in order. So now I want you to pause the video again and I want you to put the data in order. So what I tend to do if I go back to the original data is I look for the smallest number and I write it down and I cross it out. Then I go to the next number and I write it down and cross it out. So whatever you want to do to make this easier for you, I want you to put the data in order. Okay, there's a couple things we need to talk about in order to make a box plot. We need to review some vocabulary. So first of all, we need the minimum, which is the lowest number. So once your data is in order, and that's why it's important to put it in order first, it's the very first step, your minimum is your lowest number. Okay, your first quartile is the middle of the bottom half. The median is the middle. The third quartile is the middle of the top half. And the maximum is the largest value. So we're going to talk about it in a little more detail on the next slide, but for now I just want you to write down the minimum, the first quartile, the medium, the third quartile, and the maximum. And make sure you know what each of those mean. Okay, so here we have our data in order. So let's start with our minimum, which is our lowest number. In this case, it's 32. We can skip down to the bottom to discuss our maximum, which is 50. So we're going to write our max right there. Okay, now let's look for the middle numbers. So what I like to do is cross off from the ends to get to the middle. So I'm going to cross off from each end until I end up with my middle two numbers. Now in this case, they're the same, which means my median or my middle number is 43. If they were two different numbers, you would find the average of them. So you would add them together and divide by 2. Okay, now that I've done that, I need to find my first quartile and my third quartile. So I'm going to start by finding the middle of the bottom half. So here's the bottom half of my numbers. So I'm going to do the same thing by crossing out from each side. Okay, so now my middle or my median number in this case is the same again. It's 40, so that's going to be my lower quartile. Now I'm going to use a different color to show you my upper quartile. So I'm finding the middle of the upper half of the number. So I'm crossing off one at a time. Okay, in this case, my middle is 47, so my upper quartile is 47. Okay, now the last step is to insert all of these onto a number line. Okay, so I've placed a number line at the bottom and I'm going to fill in my numbers. So first I'm going to put my lowest number or my minimum, which is 32, and I'm going to put that right here. So I have 32. Then I'm going to, so I've done that one. So I'm going to do 40 now. So I'm going to count 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. So 40 is right here. 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47 is right here. 48, 49, and 50 would be right here. And then, I mixed 43. See, you're making mistakes already. 41, 42, 40. Okay, so 43 is right here. So I have now made my minimum, my first quartile, my median, my third quartile, and my maximum. Okay, so I've plotted those points on my number line. Now, the minimum, you're going to do a dot above the minimum, and you are going to do a dot above the maximum. I sure hope your dots are better looking than mine. This is hard to do on a computer. Okay, now you're going to do a line above the first quartile, the median, and the third quartile. So this is going to be a line, and a line. Now this is where we create our box and our whiskers. So there you go. We have just created our first box plot. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about is whether or not you have an odd number of numbers in your data set or an even number of numbers in your data set. So for this example, I just listed the numbers 1 through 7 and 1 through 8 just to make it easy. So in the top example, we have an odd number. So 4 in this case would be our median. When we're finding the first and third quartile, you're going to use the bottom half without and the top half without the median. So in this case, your first quartile would be 2 and your third quartile would be 6. Now when you have even numbers, the middle number in this case would be, or middle numbers would be 4 and 5. So your median in this case would be 4.5. Now when you're finding your lower and upper quartile, you're going to use that and that as your half numbers. So in this case, your lower quartile would be 2.5 and your upper quartile would be 6.5. All right, we did it. We made it through our first online math lesson. Yay, go us. All right, so the next thing I want you guys to do is to work on IXL lesson KK3. So the main part of that is finding quartiles. If you need a little bit more practice, you can search in some of the other grade levels for box plots. There's some analyzing ones if you want some extra work. But otherwise, I have made a list of some extra things that you can work on if you feel like it. And otherwise, I will see you guys on our video chats. My office hours are posted on in the folder. And I'll see you guys soon. Miss ya. Bye.